Thanks for joining this SPM Academy session. I'm Deborah McGrath, ServiceNow Principal Product Marketing Engineer and your webinar host. We're really excited to present an overview of the new features in our Xanadu release for SPM, Enterprise Architecture, and Collaborative Work Management. And to show us what's new in Xanadu, we're joined by one of our favorite SPM Academy speakers, Greg Sand, who's Senior Principal Outbound Product Manager. Greg is an SPM subject matter expert. He has many years of experience as a practitioner, and he's our go-to expert of choice to talk about our great new capabilities. Greg, we couldn't be happier to have you back once again to highlight our new features.
Thanks, Deborah. I'm happy to join you and our audience for our last What's New session, latest that is. We've got a lot to share today.
Yeah, we certainly do. First, I'll point out our safe harbor notice. While most of what we'll be discussing and showing you are features that are available as of our Xanadu release, this presentation may contain forward-looking statements that reflect the current beliefs of ServiceNow, all based on current information available. However, actual results may differ materially and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. As you can see, we do have a lot to discuss today. To highlight just a few of these items, I'd like to point out our Now Assist for SPM includes multi-feedback summarization and the ability to share, pin, and edit feedbacks from the home page. It also has document summarization, which enables you to elaborate and shorten text. You'll see our enhanced scenario planning, which enables you to compare multiple scenarios, do trade-off analysis, and approve the best scenario. Strategic planning with the new export roadmap to PowerPoint. We'll touch on financial planning and strategic planning and project workspace. And then you'll see our new enterprise architecture workspace with enhanced dashboards and enterprise modeling to enable future state planning. And finally, our super popular collaborative work management application with our new My Work feature, which provides users with a consolidated view and management of all their CWM and SPM work. And we'll close by sharing some upcoming events and helpful resources. Let's get started with a look at what's new in Xanadu for SPM.
All right, thank you, Deborah. And it wouldn't be without us in the SPM business unit to not represent our great product innovation, what we do with our product over time and over the years. As you know, with our next experience on the ServiceNow platform, along with GenAI, we're beginning to really expand into those great use cases that are being asked for by our community of users, such like yourself. And so as you can see on the right-hand side in here with Xanadu, a lot more focus on modernization, also with GenAI capabilities, as Deborah talked about. Let's jump in. Let's talk about multi-feedback summarizations powered by Now Assist and the ServiceNow platform. How we can help leverage the multi-feedback summarization for those that are focused on that feedback outcome to understand how they can quickly synthesize those insights from various sources, such as email or another input mechanism or other channel that helps make it easier to act on customer feedback and improve that project efficiency. So this really allows for enhanced decision making and really boost that productivity for those that are focused on feedback loops. The next one we're going to cover here is around document summarization with AI. So this really allows you to utilize our new document summarization and text modification capabilities powered by our Gen AI across the multiple planning modules in SPM to really help you save time, improve that productivity, and really increase that collaboration for project managers, PMOs, product managers, portfolio managers, and the like. And so this is really helping you with streamlining document handling and improving that collaboration within team members. The next one we're going to cover here is around scenario planning. This has been a highly requested item. We have had scenario planning within SPM for quite some time. This is moving us into that new modernization from the next experience and leveraging greater capability than we have. And so scenario planning, as we do it for this first release, will really be focused on goals with the future roadmap with capacity planning and financial planning. And we really want you to help you understand from our new scenario planning. We want to empower you with decision-making processes, really by helping you create multiple plan alternatives for trade-offs analysis and strategic alignment. This really helps with accelerating that planning with side-by-side scenario comparisons, highlighting some of those key differences and strategic impacts, and all the while helping you with approval processes and streamlining those by storing and socializing approved scenarios to help you with clear decisions, improving that efficiency and communication, really optimizing that strategic planning for that what if analysis. The next one we're going to cover is around exporting the roadmap to PowerPoint. This has also been a highly sought after ask from many customers. So we want to help you with enhancing that strategic planning and communication by enabling a seamless export of one-year roadmaps to PowerPoint, giving you customization and design element changes post-export, and really ensuring that flexibility for your stakeholders to receive visual, compelling, and up-to-date portfolio timelines. This is really an efficient way to create and share visually compelling roadmaps for effective strategic planning and communication. And what we thought we would do today is we thought we would demonstrate a few of these highlights. Of course, we're not able to demonstrate everything that's new in Xanadu within 30 minutes. So let's start with that feedback that we discussed earlier, and how do we help with those feedback loops and making it easy for GenAI to summarize those. Starting with our strategic planning workspace, we're taking a look at an overview of all our feedback. So we want to focus our summarization into maybe some very specific feedback elements in here. And what we've done is we filtered this by a specific customer that we're focused on and some specific sentiments that we want to focus our feedback on. It's very easily for us to go ahead and create these, go ahead and summarize those feedbacks. And our Gen AI capability will allow Now Assist to really give that summarization for you. And then you can take those easy, quick next steps, such as putting this in the backlog, like a demand, an epic, or maybe even a feature. Next, when we talked about that document summarization could be leveraged in our docs component in our project workspace, such as this project charter. And so what we can do here is we see that this project purpose that was put in this charter is quite lengthy. So what we may want to do is just go ahead and leverage Now Assist to go ahead and provide a summarization for that. And we can just click Now Assist, do a summarize. It will produce a shortened or revised project purpose, and we can easily insert that below and begin to make maybe some additional changes relative to the project charter. Next, we're going to move on into that scenario planning. What we've done in here is we're focused on those enterprise goals, and we've seen some key demands, epics, and projects that we filtered and prioritized. And we want to now be able to say, well, I want to create a scenario. And from this drop down in here, you see that I've created some scenarios already for demonstration purposes, but we can manage them, compare them, we can approve them. And that leads us into the next screening here around some of those and what those look like. What we've done here is we've created a scenario for the first half of 2025, and we've chosen to filter these out to make sure everything that is very critical or should have and must have from that filtration perspective, we want to make sure those are all in our plan. Well, then this allows us then to go ahead and compare those scenarios, approve them, maybe create a new one from this screen. But I have pre-selected here where we can just compare those scenarios together, and you can see how many work items we have related to some specific goals. So we want to make sure that we focus on what are the different scenarios we have, what are some of the goals we may not want to focus on for the first half of 2025, thereby reducing some of those work efforts, and we can easily approve those scenarios and move on. The next item that we want to cover from a demonstration perspective is the ability to export to PowerPoint. We've got a roadmap here that is showing us some work items that we have that we want to put into a PowerPoint. We can easily come up here and select and say export to PowerPoint, and that will then produce a local PowerPoint record that you can then launch and have a starting point of what that looks like. And so you can see in here, it's very easy for us to go ahead and continue editing with these. You can use templates to be able to do some of those areas as well. So really allowing you that flexibility. Again, this is a very big sought feature from our customers. All right, with that, let's go ahead and continue on with our presentation. And I'm going to jump next into resource management workspace. So we're not going to do a demonstration on this today, but we just wanted to cover a few highlights of some enhancements we've done relative to resource management workspace. We've allowed for splitting resource assignments. That's going to be really helpful for saying, multiple different people need to work on this. We may want to split those out. We're now including actuals versus that allocated view. We're also including an indicator for status or allocation changes, and also helping to create new cards by project level and also operational and task-based resource assignments as well. And we're adding additional attributes in the upper tray and also heat maps with your FTE view and person days. The next we want to talk about is enterprise agile planning. What are some of the enhancements that we are doing in our enterprise agile planning capability in strategic planning workspace? And as we saw, we can help with centralized docs for work items at each team level. We're also doing some UX enhancements onto the planning board, into configurations, backlog, and dashboard. And last but not least, we are now going to be including a path, a migration path, for existing safe users to our enterprise agile planning capability. So if you've been using our safe capability for quite some time and you want to modernize into enterprise agile planning, we're helping you with a migration path tool on the platform to assist you to do so. And then the next one we'll cover here very quickly on is financial planning. There's a lot of great flexibility we've added for budget approval, detailed budget tracking, helping you with simple financials data and comparing in the baselines. Also, we've added some enhancements with the expense types on resource assignments, and then a migration of the budget data also to the next experience. And then the next one we'll cover here is on the project workspace. What we've done is we've done some enhancements to the list view on the project homepage. Time card support is now available on resource assignments, as well as confirmation for change in the state of those resource assignments. And we've also done some additional UX enhancements, such as a details tab and the planning tab. All right, Deborah?
As you may have heard by now, we've changed the name of our APM solution offering to Enterprise Architecture. And APM is now a component of Enterprise Architecture, which has a broader scope to help enterprise architects reduce costs, mitigate risks, and optimize the infrastructure to enable continuous improvement, greater agility, and of course, resilience. It's also more intuitive, which helps drive productivity, and it now includes enterprise modeling and visualization for a clear, shared understanding of your organization's current structure and processes while enhancing collaboration around future state planning. So let's take a quick look at our new enterprise architecture. Greg?
Thanks, Deborah. And it wouldn't be remiss without us talking about the product innovation. And Xanadu really allows us to enter that enterprise architecture market with that diagramming and modeling. So let's jump into that. So why did we build this? So we want to help our enterprise architecture community along with our application portfolio personnel, whether they are very specific to an application portfolio management practices. They own those portfolios, but we also know that enterprise architects are also part of this greater picture. So we wanted to help by giving our enterprise architects and our broader community the ability to diagram and model architecture and capabilities to really help visualize future state and achieve those business goals. We want to help visualize and assess the impact of proposed changes and really help to identify some of those potential risks before implementing strategies or projects. So really, when we think about that challenge, a lot of enterprise architects may not necessarily have visibility into that technology landscape to help identify those capability gaps and collaboration amongst some of the stakeholders. So this really allows us to provide an intuitive one-click current state modeling with our ServiceNow data to help really give those visualizations, identify gaps, and communicate some of those transformation plans to really achieve your strategic outcomes. So with that, we thought we would do a demonstration of this very quickly, and let's come back to our demo environment in here. And we are now in our enterprise architecture workspace, giving us insights into some of the things that we need to pay attention to, things that are at risk, candidates for migration, perhaps. So you can see we've configured this workspace to add some additional insights from an application portfolio perspective. But what we've introduced here is now we have our enterprise modeling and visualization. And I'll click on this and you can see that we already have some maps that we've created based on some specific criteria that we've decided to choose. And you can see some architectural categories for things that we've gone ahead and created. It's very easy to start a new one. We can just click on create, give it a description, and that will create that blank diagram. I went ahead and created one just to show what this looks like from a net new perspective. And this just allows us to then choose some of the shapes that you see here, circles, persons, etc. But also from an enterprise architecture standpoint, we can click on these and begin to insert things like an application. We can begin to insert things like application service. And it's very easy for us to connect the dots from the diagramming perspective and saying, yep, that application is connected to that application service. Perhaps there's another application that is part of this scenario, and both of these business applications may connect to the single application service that hosts them both. So very simple diagramming that we have in here. And we can also, go through the approval process on these. We can share them out, save them as different versions, and we, duplicate, etc. So that allows us to do it from a net new perspective. When we think about creating diagrams from what we have today within ServiceNow, let's take a look at one of our business applications where we can see some of the details, some of the work around here, total cost of ownership, and so on. But this also allows us to go ahead and create those diagrams from the menu item perspective, and then we can see what that may look like already within the ServiceNow platform. So this gives us a starting point here from a diagram to understand what is current today, and that really helps us understand what our future state might look like. If I'm an enterprise architect and we're looking to modernize this, what are some of the decisions? We may leverage this as the starting point as we begin to create those future capabilities of what we're looking for modernizing. All right, so that helps us with our enterprise architecture demonstration. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Deborah.
Thank you, Greg. So last but not least, we continue to enhance our easy-to-use collaborative work management application, and CWM enables knowledge workers to plan, visualize, and collaborate on work with cross-functional teams. We have some great new capabilities, including the new My Work feature that provides users with a consolidated view to manage all of their CWM and SPM work. So Greg, back to you one last time.
All right, thanks, Deborah. And what we've done is we've introduced the My Work experience in our collaborative work management. So this really helps you with centralizing all those tasks from collaborative work management that you have, SPM projects, demands, risks, issues, decisions, changes, stories, all in one view relative to collaborative work management. So a lot of users have so many tasks across so many different workspaces, it's very difficult to prioritize as a knowledge worker. So it's currently being such a manual process. Sometimes work can often get missed. They may be building custom dashboards for themselves to help achieve those. And we wanted to provide an experience to you out of box that really allows you to focus all that work in one location. So really, instead of clicking into every space or project or story, you're really able to see everything in one place. So now, instead of clicking on individual boards and jumping between multiple workspaces, there is now a single streamlined solution. And with that, we're going to go ahead and do our last demonstration for today. And this is My Work. So if you're not familiar with our new collaborative work management capability, it is part of our SPM licensing, and it is also licensed separately as needed for organizations. But we can see that we can help with these flexible boards that we have. We have a few spaces and boards that we have on our list. But really, as a knowledge worker, I have all my work that I have. I can pay attention to what's in progress, open items, overdue, completed, and so on. And we can do some, filtration in here as well. So I may want to go into my open items, and we see we've got a number of those item types that we talked about. We see some risks and issues, actions, and changes requests in this particular case. This could also, again, include stories, project tasks, and the like. But this really helps us with our day-to-day, and we can drag the priority up here, for example, and I might want to start my day with just these critical items. And let's go ahead and go into each one of these and figure out what different activities or actions we need to take. All right, so that wraps up our demonstration for My Work. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Deborah.
Thank you, Greg. Take a look at the next upcoming event. So our next SPM Academy webinar will be on Thursday, October 31st, and we have a really thought-provoking discussion with ServiceNow's Kranti Pulagari about how you can maximize business value with enterprise architecture. So we're going to talk about a variety of things in that one. Scan this QR code to register, and just a reminder that you can view this webinar again or access any of our prior SPM Academy webinars on demand on our YouTube playlist, Last Thursdays with SPM Webinars. So then next, for additional learning, We have some in-person SPM and enterprise architecture practitioner workshops. They're offered as hands-on lab experiences. Scan this QR code to get additional details on those workshops. Join us next Thursday, October 3rd, to learn how you can empower your teams with collaborative work management. You'll learn about key features, benefits, and how to get started with CWM. And you can register for any of our live on ServiceNow events, including this one at community.servicenow.com under events. Scan this QR code for our quick guide to CWM implementation to help you get started with CWM in as little as 5 minutes. For additional resources about our Xanadu release, check out our ServiceNow community release page and our Now Platform Xanadu release page. Thank you, Greg. Much appreciated. Thank you again to my co-producer, John Lim, and a very huge thank you to our SPM Academy last Thursday's audience for joining us. We will see you at our next SPM Academy webinar, which is on Halloween, October 31st.